Imagine living in a time when hope seemed lost, where the values of a society were completely distorted, and the people, separated from their spiritual roots, wandered without direction. It was in this context that Josiah emerged. He was not just a king, but a young man with a heart willing to transform his generation. From an early age, Josiah faced the challenges of leading a kingdom steeped in idolatry and corruption. Think about it. How would you react to being called to lead such a profound movement of change? This story is not just about a king, but about a call to courage and restoration, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable adversity. Josiah became king at the age of 8, a fact that, in itself, is surprising. A boy assumed the throne of Judah, surrounded by advisors who, for the most part, followed the corrupt practices of previous kings. But something set Josiah apart. He chose to follow in the footsteps of David, an ancestor known for his commitment to God. During the first years of his reign, Josiah intensely sought the divine presence. At 16, he began a spiritual quest that would change his life and that of his people. This leads us to wonder, what prevents us from taking the first step toward something greater? At 26, Josiah began one of Judah's greatest reforms. During the restoration of the temple, the priests found the Book of the Law, which had been forgotten for generations. Imagine the impact of this discovery, a manual for life, full of teachings and promises, hidden under the rubble of spiritual neglect. Upon hearing the words of the law, Josiah tore his clothes in repentance and urgency. He recognized that his nation needed to return to God's path. It is amazing how something lost can change everything when rediscovered. What about you? Is there something in your life that needs to be rescued? From that moment on, Josiah not only heard the words of the law, but he acted. He led a true spiritual revolution, destroying pagan altars and removing idolatrous practices from Judah. His determination was not just political, but deeply spiritual. He rallied the people and renewed their covenant with God, committing to follow all of the Lord's commandments, statutes, and decrees. There is something powerful in seeing a leader not only speak but live what he preaches. It challenges us to reflect. Are we willing to take concrete action to transform our own lives and inspire those around us? Josiah's reforms brought profound results. He not only restored the worship of God, but also united the nation around a greater purpose. His reign was a period of spiritual and moral renewal, marking one of the last great eras of faithfulness before the Babylonian exile. But his story also reminds us that great change requires courage, perseverance, and often sacrifice. Like Josiah, we all have the capacity to leave a legacy. What will yours be? The story of Josiah teaches us several valuable lessons. First, it is never too early to make a difference. Second, true leadership begins with the pursuit of truth and justice. And third, transformation begins in our hearts before spreading to the world around us. Today, we live in similarly challenging times, where values are often forgotten and replaced by momentary priorities. But, like Josiah, we have the opportunity to seek out what has been lost and restore what truly matters. What can you do today to bring about change in your life or in the community around you? Perhaps it is time to rediscover the Book of the Law in your own life, not necessarily a physical book, but something that represents your deepest values, purpose, and convictions. Josiah's story shows us that transformation begins with a willing heart and concrete actions. Every small action can lead to greater change than we can imagine. Josiah was more than a king. He was an example that the courage to change can transform an entire generation. Her story is a reminder that even in dark times, hope can be renewed. And now, the decision is in your hands. What will you do with the challenges life presents you with? Are you ready to lead a transformation in your own life and inspire others to do the same? The journey begins with one step, and that step can be taken today. What are you waiting for?